My name is Sarah. I am 32 years old. 5 years ago, I believed I had a happy family. I had a loving husband. His name was Michael. We had been married for 7 years. We also had a beautiful 6-year-old daughter named Lily. Life was not easy. We lived in a small rented house. We did not have expensive furniture. We did not take luxury vacations. Sometimes, we had to count every dollar before going to the grocery store. But I never complained. Every evening, we ate dinner together. After dinner, Michael played with Lily while I washed the dishes. Hearing Lily laugh made our small house feel warm and full of love. I truly believed we were happy. Michael worked as a sales representative for a small company. I worked at a local bakery. The pay was not high, but together we paid our bills. We dreamed about buying our own house one day. We often talked about the future. "We'll get there," Michael always said. I smiled every time I heard those words. I trusted him completely. I believed we were building our future together. Then everything changed. It was a Friday evening. I came home carrying fresh bread from the bakery. Lily ran into my arms. "Mommy." She hugged me tightly. I kissed her forehead. Then I noticed Michael sitting quietly in the living room. He wasn't watching television. He wasn't reading. He just stared at the floor. His face looked different. He looked nervous. I asked softly, "Michael, is everything okay?" He took a deep breath. Then he looked at me. "We need to talk." Those 4 words made my heart race. I slowly sat down across from him. He stayed silent for several seconds. Finally, he spoke. "I want a divorce." For a moment, I couldn't breathe. I thought I had heard him wrong. "What?" He looked away. "I don't love you anymore." The room suddenly felt cold. I stared at him. I waited for him to smile and tell me it was a joke. But he never smiled. Instead, he quietly continued, "I've met someone else." My hands began to shake. "Someone else?" He nodded. "Her name is Victoria. She owns several businesses. She understands the life I want." Every word felt like another knife in my heart. I whispered, "What about Lily?" Michael sighed. "I'll send money every month. But I want to move on." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I looked toward our daughter's bedroom. She was happily drawing pictures. She had no idea her world was about to change forever. Tears filled my eyes. I asked, "Was our family not enough?" Michael didn't answer immediately. Finally, he said, "I'm tired of struggling. I want a better life." I looked around our small house. The old sofa. The tiny dining table. The family photographs on the wall. Everything suddenly felt different. I realized Michael no longer saw our home. He only saw what we didn't have. A week later, I signed the divorce papers. It was the hardest thing I had ever done. Michael packed his clothes into 2 suitcases. Lily stood beside me holding my hand. "Daddy, where are you going?" Michael knelt in front of her. "I have to leave for work. I'll see you soon." She smiled. She believed him. I knew he was lying. He kissed her forehead. Then he walked out the front door. He never looked back. That night, Lily asked, "When is Daddy coming home?" I forced myself to smile. "Soon." But deep inside, I knew our lives had changed forever. The following weeks were the hardest of my life. Michael sent child support. But it wasn't enough. Rent, food, school supplies, electric bills. Everything depended on me now. I started working longer hours at the bakery. Before sunrise, I baked bread. I served customers with a smile. After work, I cleaned office buildings until late at night. By the time I returned home, Lily was usually asleep. Some nights, I sat beside her bed and watched her sleep. I quietly promised myself, no matter how difficult life becomes, I will give you the future you deserve. Sometimes I cried after she fell asleep. But every morning, I smiled again. Because my daughter deserved hope. Not fear. Not sadness. Only hope. Life slowly became better. It wasn't easy. But every small step gave me hope. Lily was growing into a kind and intelligent little girl. She studied hard. She never complained when I had to work late. Sometimes, she even helped me clean the house before I came home. One evening, she hugged me and said, "Mom, when I grow up, I'll buy you a big house." I smiled. "You don't have to buy me anything. Just be kind." That's enough. Years passed. I continued working at the bakery. Little by little, I saved money. One day, my manager offered me a promotion. I happily accepted. A year later, I used my savings to open a small neighborhood bakery. The first months were difficult. Some days, only a few customers came. But I never gave up. I baked fresh bread every morning. I greeted every customer with a smile. Slowly, people began recommending my bakery to their friends. Business improved every month. 3 years later, my little bakery had become one of the most popular shops in town. I hired several employees. For the first time in many years, I finally felt peaceful. Lily was now 11 years old. She loved helping customers after school. Whenever someone asked who owned the bakery, she proudly smiled. "My mom does." Hearing those words always filled my heart with joy. I no longer thought about Michael. I truly believed that chapter of my life was over. Then one rainy evening, someone knocked on my front door. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened the door, I froze. Michael was standing there. His clothes were wet from the rain. His beard had grown. His face looked tired. His eyes no longer carried the confidence I remembered. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Finally, he whispered, "Hello, Sarah." I quietly replied, "Hello, Michael." He looked down at the ground. "I know I don't deserve this, but may I come inside for a few minutes?" After a long silence, I stepped aside. He slowly entered the house. He looked around. The home was simple, but it was warm. Family photographs filled the walls. Pictures of Lily. Pictures of the bakery. Pictures of happy memories. Michael stared at them quietly. Then he asked, "How have you been?" I smiled politely. "We're doing well." He nodded. "I'm glad." His voice sounded weak. Finally, he looked at me. "Victoria left me 2 years ago." I said nothing. My business failed. I lost my job. I lost my apartment. I thought money would make me happy. I was wrong. Tears slowly filled his eyes. I lost everything. He took a deep breath. "The biggest mistake of my life. I was leaving you." The room became silent. Rain softly tapped against the windows. Michael looked at me with regret. "I've thought about you every day. I've thought about Lily every day. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. But if there's even a small chance, please, let me come home." Before I could answer, the front door opened. Lily walked inside after visiting her friend's house. She stopped immediately. She recognized him. "Dad." Michael turned around. His eyes filled with tears. "Lily." She slowly walked toward him. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Lily quietly hugged him. Michael began crying. "I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I wasn't there." Lily stepped back. She looked at him calmly. "I missed you." But Mom never let me hate you. She always told me to be kind. Michael covered his face with his hands. He couldn't stop crying. I gently placed a cup of tea on the table. Then I sat across from him. Michael, I forgave you a long time ago. He looked up hopefully. But forgiveness doesn't erase the past. You left when we needed you most. Lily grew up without her father. I rebuilt my life. We found happiness again. I can't go backward. His shoulders slowly dropped. He understood. I continued softly. I truly hope you find peace. But my future no longer belongs with you. Michael nodded. I understand. He stood up. Before leaving, he walked toward Lily. I'm proud of the young woman you've become. She smiled through her tears. Take care of yourself, Dad. He nodded. Then he looked at me one last time. Thank you for being stronger than I ever was. I smiled gently. Goodbye, Michael. He quietly walked out into the rain. This time, I didn't cry. I simply closed the door. I looked at Lily. She smiled. Then she hugged me tightly. I love you, Mom. I love you too. At that moment, I realized something important. Sometimes people leave. Sometimes they break your heart. But they can never take away your strength. Real happiness isn't finding someone who never makes mistakes. Real happiness is discovering your own worth after someone fails to see it.